Well, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of Leveraging Technology. Here we are already at the halfway point, and glad to see that you are all doing so well and connecting to the class. I just wanted to say a few things related to this week's lesson. So let me just pull up my notes here. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is the assistive technology planner from IEP consideration to classroom implementation. And I just wanted to draw your attention. Of course, you're going to be looking at all of the slides and clicking on the links and looking at everything. But I wanted to draw your attention to just some of the slides that I think that are interesting that I definitely want you to pay attention to. And the first one is slide 18, where it says consideration of AT. Assistive technology implementation proceeds according to a collaboratively developed plan. Intent: following IEP development, all those involved in implementation work together to develop a written action plan that provides detailed information about how the AT will be used in specific educational settings, what will be done, and who will do it. It's really important that we as educators participate in IEP plans as much as we possibly can. A lot of times I will hear teachers say, oh, I can't make an IEP, it's another thing, and I have sports, or I have yearbook, or I have this. And I understand that, we all have commitments on campus. However, the individual education plan is very important and a legal document, and you want to make sure that whatever's on that plan is something that you are going to be able to implement in your classroom, and specifically related to assistive technology. If you don't know what the assistive technology is, if you don't know how they are supposed to use it, if you have not been trained to assess if the student is using it properly, then how are you going to be successful as an educator? How is that student going to be successful? And how are you going to manage this legal document and say that you are involved in implementing it best for the child's needs? And everybody has a role, as you know, in an IEP. Administrators, special education teachers, parents. So you need to be very familiar with the language on the document and exactly what you need to do when you have this child in your classroom. And then I'd like you to skip to slide 30. I'm scrolling down. And I think this is a really good chart to look at where it says evaluation and feedback. And it says AT, enhancing all of life's functions. When considering AT, identify environments, determine the functional areas, and select the AT. And then if you go to the very next one, it says types of AT. And this is something that I think that people often forget. When they're thinking about AT, they often think about just computers and, as it says, sophisticated devices. And that's not the case. And I want to read this to you. So it says low-tech, non-electronic devices such as adapted spoon handles, magnifiers, pencil grips, raised line paper. Medium tech, non-complicated mechanical devices such as manual wheelchairs, switch-operated toys and appliances, calculators, audiobooks. And then, of course, high-tech, devices that incorporate sophisticated electronics or computers such as speed recognition programs and electronic communication devices. And if you've already watched the video about Richard, you can see what his life is. He has low-tech and medium-tech and high-tech devices that he's using on a daily basis to be successful with his AT. The other night, my husband and I went to get some ice cream, and we were by Vets Hospital in Long Beach. And across the street, and it was dark, across the street, I saw this gurney on the sidewalk, like a hospital gurney, and I turned to Stephen and I said, oh my God, there's the hospital gurney over there. Do you think the person's okay? Well, as soon as I said that, the light changed, and the person that was on this gurney came into view. He'd been kind of obstructed before where I couldn't see him. And he was actually without legs, a vet without legs, and he was covered on the gurney, and he was navigating this electronic gurney back across the street to the vet's hospital with one hand and with his ice cream cone in the other hand. And my husband turned and looked at me and said, I think he's doing just fine. I was like, you're right, you're right. But, you know, I didn't even think about that type of assisted technology. I honestly did not know that they even had gurneys that it was unbelievable to see. And it was wonderful to see him navigating that and having a sense of control over his life that, you know, is very important for our students, that this assistive technology, once again, leverages, you know, the curricular playing field for them and daily tasks. I'm in a wheelchair right now and using the orthotic device, you know, that the doctor gave me. And the other night we went to the Broad for a special exhibit, the Infinity Mirrors, and it was in the evening, so there weren't as many people there because it was a special private event. But everybody was pushing me around in the wheelchair because they knew it would be easier for me. They felt it would be easier for me to be pushed than be in the orthotic. And I have to tell you, you know, we were looking at art exhibits, and when the person who was pushing me was done looking at a piece of art, they'd just start pushing me away. And it wasn't what I wanted. It was what they wanted. And I wasn't angry with them, but there was enough room and it was not difficult to navigate that I finally just said to everybody, you know what, you guys need to let me wheel myself around and until you know, I really need you to help me push. And I said it nicely. And then I told Stephen, you know, later I said, you know, this injury is becoming a real learning experience for me, as I've already told you, about thinking about students and thinking about AT and these types of things, because I did not like that somebody was controlling me, deciding where I would be rolled or when I was done looking at that piece of art. And like I said, I wasn't angry about it, but I just felt myself starting to get frustrated inside. And so I think we need to, you know, really consider those things and remember to have that perspective when we're using AT with our students. Okay, go to slide 38. Or just listen to me, either or. And I think this slide's important for you to look at because, once again, it just lets you know it's got the administrator's role, the teacher's role, and the family's role. And everybody has a piece in this IEP. And there are many people in this class, I'm sure, that have had experiences with IEPs or 504 plans where you're implementing and doing your role and the special education teacher is doing their role, but maybe the admin or the family is not doing their role. And sometimes you will even get families, unfortunately, that will blame you or blame the system for their child not doing as well as they would like them to. And so you want to have these legal documents, you know, to protect you, to show what you're supposed to do and what they're supposed to do to make sure that the child is successful. And it's unfortunate, but if you've been in, you know, a school district long enough, you will have these situations where legal issues arise over IEPs, where families bring in advocates to protect them, where it will go to lawsuits. So it's very important that whatever it says on the IEP or the 504 plan, that you are making sure that you are following that in your classroom, that you are implementing the procedures needed for this child, that if the child needs assistive AT, that not only do they know how to use it, but that you know how to monitor it, or that you know how to handle it if something becomes faulty. So just some things to remember. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Okay, so it's just very short this week. I just wanted to go over that about the Assistive Technology Planner and talk just briefly about A Day in the Life of Richard, which is such a great video and very interesting to see how he is able to use his AT to leverage things for himself. Remember that the submit assignment number 3, try something new for week 4, that ties back to your earlier assignment. So when you look over that, you'll see that right away where it asks you to try something new. And remember to continue on with your e-portfolio. And that's it. I hope you have a wonderful week. Get hold of me if you need to. I'm available for you. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.